Hello YouTube, thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. Today, I want to talk about No Man's Sky in 2022. I'm doing this from the top of my head, so please bear with me. I bought this game when it came out, but I basically put it away because of all the controversy surrounding it. And now, after so many years, I think 5 years or something, 6 years, the game got a lot of updates, and I thought it was time to try it actually in 2022. And I'll get straight to the point with No Man's Sky. I mean, on a technical level, this game is incredible. It still is after so many years. This infinite and colorful universe full of procedurally generated planets and wildlife and flora and fauna and whatnot is just mind-blowing. Hot, cold, and wet and scorched big and small planets. It's incredible. And the way that you can seamlessly fly to planets and land and take off, again, is amazing. I have no other words for it. It's brilliant. And there have been a lot of content updates. I'm not going to go into detail of those updates. Despite all that, the hour-to-hour gameplay has not much changed over the course of the years. I mean, it still consists of you gathering resources. That's the core game mechanic. It's Minecraft in space, more or less. I know there are different games, but it has that resource gathering, it has the crafting, it has the building. And especially the possibilities of building your own base, expanding your spaceship, upgrading the tools that you need to gather resources. It's all very well done. Although there are, I think, some inconsistencies, like for instance, from the get-go, you can craft items anywhere. It doesn't matter where well, not in your spaceship. I mean, you need to be on a planet, and from your exosuit, you can basically craft any item you need. But you can't refine materials. You can't refine your resources that you've gathered unless you build a refiner, which is a structure that you need to place on the planet until you get a blueprint for a portable refiner so that you can refine on the fly, much like you can craft on the fly. Come to think of it, it's kind of weird that you have a portable workbench right from your exosuit but not a refiner. And it's interesting because even though the game is designed as a grind, so to speak, the upgrades you unlock later on make the grind less frustrating or even remove it entirely. I mean, you get more storage space on your ships, you can craft and refine, as I said, right from your exosuit, especially when you find some lucrative side activities to do from the space station. You get a list of missions you can partake in that will reward you with quite a bit of money, and you can basically then buy the necessary resources right from the space station, to the point that there isn't really an incentive anymore to keep exploring new planets, which is pretty much the point of the game. So the game introduces you to the grind, the hour-to-hour grinding of resources and blah blah, and then it gives you tools to remedy that and remove the grind. So that does make you wonder what the point of it all is, right? And this also ties into another thing that strikes me, despite all the extra content. I mean, it's great that these developers keep updating the game, but still, even after that, this game feels, I don't know, soulless, for lack of a better word. I mean, given the procedurally generated nature of the game, I can fully appreciate the vastness and emptiness of planets, but besides the resource gathering, there isn't much else going on. There's some pre-made buildings that you can find on a planet and then explore for some resources probably. There's some buried treasures, again, more resources for you to take. Space stations kind of look the same. Now there are a whole lot of different ships you can purchase, but they kind of fly the same as well. And there is no real narrative in this game. It's non-existent, and the characters you meet are very, very basic. And especially the story, I mean, the lack of it. You need to follow this signal through the universe. Now, I mean, that feels like you're in a treadmill, continuously going to the next planet because you have to go there because of some signal. It might not be fair, but it still comes up. This comparison between another game that is Outer Wilds. I'm not talking about the Outer Worlds, but the Outer Wilds. An amazing game. Again, a spacefaring game as well. And No Man's Sky. So the comparison is almost inevitable. That game, the Outer Wilds, had so much charm and heart. And you do wonder what makes that game, Outer Wilds, so much more appealing. They're different games, of course, but I guess nothing really beats a handcrafted space adventure. I think that is what it is. Going to a planet, landing on the planet, coming to this building that was of a different civilization, that was designed like that. Not just some cardboard thing that was placed there because the computer generated that, but by hand crafted. And that makes, I think, No Man's Sky kind of feel empty. You know, it does boil down to that same old grind with very little story to tie it all together. It's not to say that No Man's Sky is a bad game. As I said, on the contrary, there aren't many spacefaring, crafting, building games, and this game does that very well. But after a while, I kind of lost my interest for it. Because I think with an interesting narrative, with interesting characters, it could have been so much more. And I know there are new game modes available. There is a mode where you don't have to grind and just fly around to planets. But again, what is the point of it? You know, what is the point? You know, let's talk about a game called Pirates by Sid Meier, an old game. You know, you get a ship and you explore the Caribbean. And that could become kind of boring as well, but there was at least this incentive to keep exploring because there was a story about you and your lost family member. So you wanted to find the next family member, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and each had something to tell and give you like another place to go to find some kind of treasure or something like that. And No Man's Sky kind of misses that. It misses something to make a connection with me, to immerse myself in that. I just don't get immersed enough by the grind, you know. And I did enjoy it for a while, but at some point you start thinking, again, why am I doing this? What is the point? Where am I going? Why should I keep doing this? Why should I strive for yet another bigger ship or a frigate or whatever? You know, it's just another thing to worry about. It's like that. This is what I think of No Man's Sky. Let me know what you think, and see you in the next video.